Hi, I'm sorry that I can't be with you at the convention at Anaheim. Just think, it's 30 years since Empire Strikes Back was released in 1980. I wish I could have shared it with you, but I made this poster just for this celebration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, he's feeling me up over here.
Can you blame him?
I'm not like that, Derek.
You're saying that because there's cameras present. No. Okay. You got it?
I don't want to go gendarme.
Yeah.
Hang on, gendarme.
So let us know when you're ready. Are you rolling? What? Oh, is he on? Are you on? Let me check. Okay.
I had one of those. I did a movie called Nighthawks. You see, I wore one of I wore a Superman sweater.
All right, so we have to share. Okay, so we're going to start this from scratch. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first live, or it's not actually live, it's the first live at a convention of Cool Waters Live. And we have with us Mr. Billy Dee Williams.
Billy, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Such a pleasure to have you with us, as always.
Yes. This is technically our first huge Star Wars guest on the show. We've had some others, but you're the man. And I'm glad that you're here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Derek and Sheila.
I'm excited because I'm a Star Wars geek. So I'm going to ask him a geeky question. Billy, why did you betray Han Solo?
You know, my whole life revolves around this whole betrayal. You know, conspiracy.
Because I thought he was your friend.
You know, it's very, I was just talking about it to somebody out here. You know, and it's like since when I used to pick my little girl up from school. Can you imagine? It's 30 years. And I used to pick her up from school, and I'm like in the middle of the schoolyard, and these little children are running up to me, saying that you betrayed Han Solo. I'm right in the middle of the schoolyard, you know, trying to justify and explain, you know, Lando's, motives. Well, anyway, listen, Lando. You know, he had what was tantamount and what was comparable to what Steve Wynn has in Vegas. He had his own little thing like Vegas, you know, and then in comes, you know, Han and his friends, and then right behind them there was Darth Vader. And so he had to kind of figure out what to do about that whole situation and save his situation. You know, he was trying to prevent the complete demise of Han and his friends, and at the same time hang on to his situation. He ended up losing his situation. So, who do you sympathize with?
Well, here's what I think. I think that you're up there in the clouds selling a bunch of puffy smoke to people that make them feel funny.
Oh,
And
I'm a
I
drug
think the
dealer.
Empire got caught. I think they got caught wind of it, and they weren't making any cuts, so they came in here, slapped you around a bit, and you fell for it. So.
Oh, God, this is the first theory I've heard. Now I'm like into selling dope.
Well, that may have influenced the
Not
question.
me, I mean, the character.
Cloud City. My heads are in the
Cloud
clouds.
City, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
I think they had you on set way
Very
too long.
clever,
In
Derek.
the clouds. Were there real clouds on set?
Well, you probably.
From what I've heard, there's a few people on set that made their own clouds. No. You know what? This is my show. I can make the joke.
Even if they're not funny?
Well,
I thought it was hilarious. Some of them know what I'm talking about. No, we'll move on because I'm going to get in trouble for that. You ask a question.
Okay. I'm going to ask a serious question, not about Star Wars. I know, sorry guys. No, of all the characters you've played, is there one that you particularly relate to as a person?
well, I got nominated for an Emmy for Brian's song, so Brian's song became very important in my career, and some of the experiences I've had. Lady Sings the Blues, Mahogany, and the Bingo Long Traveling All Stars and Lonely Tunes. I just saw that on television the other night, and it still holds up. It's a really wonderful movie. And, there are quite a few experiences I've had, things I've done on stage in New York, on the New York stage. There's no real one particular thing, really.
Yeah.
The birth of my children. That's the two best experiences. Now I'm a grandpa, so I got a beautiful grandson now. So that's another third wonderful experience.
Soon you'll be explaining to kids at his school why you betrayed Han Solo.
Yeah, that's coming, I'm sure.
All right, Billy, how did you get the role? How did you get of Lando specifically?
I met with Irv Kirshner. He was supposed to be here today, and I'm sorry you guys won't have that experience because he's really a wonderful man. And but he came to my house, and I knew that they were interested in hiring me to play the character Lando Calrissian. And so at that time, Irv came to my house, and we sat down and we talked for a long time. We talked about Eastern philosophy because he's very much into that, and I was at one point in my life. And we really hit it off, and that was pretty much how it all happened.
So there was no audition, like you didn't have to read lines or anything. They hired you.
No, I didn't have to audition for it. No, I was a big actor.
No, I mean
I didn't do stuff like that.
you still are. Oh, wow.
I don't like auditioning. I can't stand audition. I always figure that people should hire me. Just know that I can do it. And,
Well, I haven't seen anything you've sucked in, so I guess you're doing your job. And I've seen it all. Well, almost.
it's funny when you say sucked in. It doesn't. There's something really weird.
I haven't seen anything which you've performed poorly in.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. I really appreciate that.
I'm trying to be nice. No, I mean that's
I know
seriously.
it's difficult, isn't it?
So,
He's like my son, this kid. We've known each other for how many years now? 12 years.
Yeah.
He's all right.
It's a long time. It's not 30 years though.
No.
Do you remember what you did 30 years ago, aside from filming The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, I remember a few things I did 30 years. But we don't
color
need to
pants
talk
you were
about
wearing
it.
on December 3rd?
We don't know that. We don't need to talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Well, in the show, typically we have 5 standard questions that we ask our guests just to kind of get to know them a little bit. And I think we've deviated from that somewhat today, but I want to ask one of them. And that is, Billy, aside from your performing, aside from acting, if there's one thing you would, is there one thing that you would like to be remembered for?
Aside from betraying Han Solo.
I don't know. I think this is really not very interesting. But I think I've always wanted to be recognized as being a pretty nice human being.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
It's admirable.
A person who's always in the process of growth, and I think things of that nature. I don't know.
No, that's good.
That's it.
Now wait, the other good one that I like from the standard 5 is, if you could have anyone to dinner, living or dead, who would they be?
These are such silly questions. Okay, living or dead. Having dinner. Orson Welles.
Very nice.
Why?
Yeah.
He was extraordinary. And in fact, I met him once. And I even asked, and I wish I could have had the opportunity to really sit down and talk with him. But I love the fact that he took chances as an artist. And I mean, he was just, I remember, I can remember when that radio program, when they aired that show, War of the Worlds.
Did you run to the closet and hide?
No, I was just a baby. I don't know what I did. But I remember people in a panic at that time. But anyway, I did meet him one time, and I did approach him about doing doing a remake of one of his movies, A Lady from Shanghai, with Rita Hayworth. I happen to like that particular character. It was a very interesting movie. Didn't do very well, but it was a very, and he was interested in the whole idea of redoing it. Until I talked to his management. That always screws everything up.
Oh, no. We should mention to everybody too. Sorry. I should have said it at the beginning. Anyone who has questions, we'll interrupt at any time. If you have your hands in the air, we will stop and we will point and go. Like this gentleman is giving you a perfect example of how to put your hand in the air. So if you can do that, you can ask a question. Well, I didn't say you could ask one. No. Go ahead.
I was not aware of the fact that I was wearing Han Solo's clothes until I've run into people like you.
We've actually got the action figure downstairs today, so I'm going to show you the figure with the clothes, and I think there's a picture of it as well. So it's true.
I have no idea. It's funny. I never thought about it until as I said, I'm being made aware of it because of.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Something like that. And you know what's weird is that it's only been more recently that all the fans have really started realizing it. Like, no one really realized it 30 years ago.
Well, maybe they couldn't afford to make another costume. They'd have to do something. The what?
Robot Chicken.
Oh, Robot Chicken? Oh, Seth Green. I have a lot of fun with those guys. In fact, I'm going to do something in the next couple of weeks with them again. But they're always asking me to do stuff.
A sketch on the show about the costume. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah, we've done a few of those. But I'm also doing one now, the Titus, what's it called? Titan Maximus, yeah. I play General Bitchface. I just saw it the other night when I was down in Tampa. I happened to turn it on what do you call it? Adult Swim. But I'm going to do another Kimball. Have you ever seen the Kimball stuff that I've ever done?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, Kimball, not Kimball. Kimball.
Jimmy Kimmel. You're going on Monday, right?
Monday.
Monday. So that'll air, does it air that day, or is it?
Yeah, they'll probably air it that day.
Everybody watch Jimmy Kimmel next Monday or Tuesday.
You know, we do these, for some years now, he's always calling me up to do these, parody on, well, I know he's enamored with Lost. So I did a few parodies on the whole Lost experience. But then he started doing this, the commemorative plate thing. So I did one on the last one I did was Tiger Woods. And the one before that was Miley Cyrus, and then the one before that was when the Lakers lost. But this week, Monday, I'm going to do Larry King. That'll be a lot of fun.
You have a question, sir? Wow, we haven't heard about it.
Yeah, I think I've been called about that. Yeah. I don't know any details yet, but I was told about it about a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
But I had a lot of fun with Seth Green. Those guys they're really some really talented people. And of course, they've mentioned me on the McFarlane show. It's Family Guy. I love Family Guy. It's such a nutty show. And he's good, that guy. He reminds me of, who was it, was great with voices many years? Mel Blanc. That guy is amazing. I'm always amazed when people can sort of do those kind of voice transitions.
First of all, are you guys hearing when people are asking questions up here, or do we need to repeat it for you? Okay, we'll start doing that. And you, sir, you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could go drink Coke 45.
Oh, everybody heard that one.
Of course. Don't you? Huh? Works every time. Well, like a smooth taste food.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah.
I think once I read something, one of those books, yeah. I was always unhappy. I always thought that they should have done a spin-off on Lando and his adventures, But anyway.
I would have liked to have seen what happened behind the doors at Cloud City. Nobody likes the Cloud City jokes, so I'm going to stop with those. Way in the back.
Hey,
what?
This is not about you.
I know. Well, you were on Cloud City. Okay.
Actually,
Lando was a great character. He had a lot of possibilities there. I'm sorry.
that's all right. They actually did do a spin-off series a number of years ago in the books for Lando. But my question for you is, at the Star Wars Celebration 4, you took a photograph of Scott Chernoff, or whoever it was that was interviewing on stage, and you said that you were going to do a painting of his face. I'm just wondering, did you ever do the painting? And if we'll ever see that?
Of who?
When you were at Celebration 4, you're on stage with your host, Scott Chernoff, and you took a picture of him with your phone while you were on there, and you said you were going to do a picture of him, a painting of him. Did you ever do it?
Not yet.
And now, thanks to you, Scott will be calling us.
Sorry, not associated.
Well, speaking of your paintings, do you have any shows coming up?
Not right now. I just did a painting for Nina Simone's daughter in New York City. They're starting a foundation, and so they commissioned me to do a painting. And I just finished that just recently. There's something else. I got something going on in Canada, but it's been going on for a while with the paintings.
Or you can always visit Billy's website, which is BDW
worldart.com. So you'll see some of the paintings there.
It's really great stuff. If you guys haven't checked it out, you probably should.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. And then the stuff that he's talking about in Canada is at the Brian List Gallery, and I think they have a website as well that you can go to. So everybody go. Everybody go. In the blue shirt.
What's your favorite story from the set of Empire Strikes Back?
Your favorite story from the set of The Empire Strikes Back?
Well, nothing really tremendously exciting. You know, for me it was, well, of course, from Return of the Jedi, that was really interesting because a lot of it seemed very sexual. A lot of the characters, and I found it was really, you know, sort of a I don't know how subliminal it was.
You can say it. It looked like a big.
Well, you know, like the
Getting a hole
Sarlacc
in the
pit.
ground.
The Sarlacc pit I always described as the, I don't know how to say this. A big pink one. And then everybody falling into it, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. So I had to look at George Lucas. I had to look, because he's such a quiet man. Wow, man, what an interesting mind. And of course, I remember that lady with the
With the 6 boobs?
Yeah, with the 6 boobs.
Yeah, Jabba's palace.
Yeah, Jabba's palace.
Shaking them all in your face.
Yeah, I mean, I'm walking around in my little outfit, you know, I'm seeing all of these creatures, and I'm thinking, George.
Yes, that's what lonely geeks do at home. They write fantasy stories.
But you know what I always
When you
enjoyed?
have
I always
that much
enjoyed.
money. What? I'm sorry, you're talking about.
Excuse me. I always enjoyed, not so much the showbiz part of it. I always enjoyed going back into those places where a lot of the young people who were very much involved with technology. I used to go back and see what they were doing on those computers that I found really interesting. You know, I mean, these are not show business people. They're just into little nerds, people who are into their little world of computers. And those guys were really, you know, were responsible for much of what we saw on that screen. All that high-tech computerized stuff, you know.
You have a question?
What's your most favorite convention experience?
Convention experience? Ta-da! Need I say
Are there
any more?
questions? Yes.
Oh, that's not important, is it? And it's happening now. Why worry? You know, why be concerned about my lease? There's been an awful lot of lease in my life. I don't worry about it anymore.
Yes, sir?
you know, I can't get into that stuff. I can't get into, what's it, what do you call it?
Facebook.
Facebook. You know, everybody in my family, they're all into that stuff. I just, I like my privacy. I don't need to tell everybody what I'm doing every day of my life. And I don't need
Right.
Yeah.
I would say so, yes.
Way in the back in the gray. Sorry. Sorry.
You played Hardy Dent in the first Batman. Were you ever asked to play Two-Face?
Yeah, well, the reason why I accepted that role was because I thought I was going to play Two-Face. That was the reason. But things changed and it didn't work out.
Were you ever asked?
Well, Sony I think they bought it out and decided to take a different direction with it. And that's when I knew that I thought I was more important than that, but then I realized I wasn't as important as I thought I was.
Before Star Wars, were you into anything sci-fi or comic books?
Yeah, I think to some degree.
Oh, I'm just going to repeat it for the back of the crowd. That he was asking if he had any interest in sci-fi before playing Lando.
Yeah, to some degree. You know, growing up as a kid. You know, I can remember, you know, all the super highways that we had. I remember before we had super highways, they were in comic books first. That's how old I am.
You have a question back there?
What's your craziest fan experience?
Craziest fan experience.
Oh, there's been a few of those.
Hard to pick.
Yeah, it's hard to pick. But I love the ladies. I have one.
Favorite leading lady to work with?
Well, Diana, of course. You know, she's certainly, we had a great chemistry. Diane Carroll. We did, I don't know, there were a few of them. A few ladies. I enjoy, you know, when I go to work, I mean, it's always fun for me, but it's always a wonderful new experience, and I always look forward to it. Well, yeah, I mean, when I, male or female? Female? Did you hear that? I used to be, not anymore. Well, of course, Diana and I mean, I think that was, I didn't have too many opportunities, you know, because there weren't that many girls around who have the kind of fame and presence that a lot of these girls have today. You know, you got the Beyoncés, you got everybody now, but in those years, you had just a very few. And so, you know, little brown-skinned boys like me have a hard way to go.
In the blue shirt?
Brilliant movies like Ladies Man, Undercover Brother. Any plans of going back to that genre?
Yeah, I just, in fact, I just got back from Tampa, Florida, from a film festival down there, and I did a movie about 3 years ago with Patrick Wilson, and Sybil Shepherd and Malcolm McDowell, called Barry Monday. And so hopefully they'll get some distribution and you'll see that movie. It's a very funny movie. I like doing that kind of stuff. You know, it's fun.
Woman in brown back there?
Yes, can you describe how Star Wars has affected your life, especially given the phenomena? I mean, you went in for a job, and now 30 years later, people are still asking you. So how has it been being involved in the cultural phenomenon?
Well, it's great.
There's been very few African Americans that are opportunities to be involved in the phenomenon.
Oh, it's great, I think, for anybody, whether you be African American or not. I mean, I think it's just to be a part of a great experience is always very rewarding, without a doubt. It's an annuity.
Billy, going on that premise, when you got the role, had you already seen the original Star Wars, or if you hadn't, once you got the role, did you go and research so you know the characters and the, what you were getting into?
Not really. I had my idea about how I wanted to approach Lando. I wanted to create a guy that was devoid of the whole question of ethnicity. I wasn't concerned about that. I figured he was a guy in the future, and all that kind of stuff was not really important. And plus the fact, I think, when you start doing the whole, doing the whole ethnic thing, what happens is that I think you put limitations on yourself. And you kind of like do things because this is what this group of people expect, and what this group of people expect. And I've always tried to, in my work, I've always tried to transcend all of that. I've always tried to present myself as an individual with special qualities, and I won't allow people to push me into or lock me into their point of view, so to speak. So with Lando, I kind of knew where I was going to go with him. I just wanted to make him a good-looking, charming, roguish character. Of course, when I got that cape, I said, "Oh, yeah, this is it. This is Errol Flynn time."
Do a few twirls in the mirror and check yourself out.
I should have kept. I wish I should have kept that cape.
All right, we have more. We have like, right, 15 minutes. Okay, cool. Thank you, 15-minute man. We'll go in the back. The gentleman standing.
I'm a big fan of the Command and Conquer series, and to see you play the Secretary General for the GDI was really exciting for me to see, being that I'm also a fan of Star Wars. How fun was it for you to play that role as the Secretary General, and eventually look like that you went crazy?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and the model I used was Rumsfeld. That's who I was trying to play, Rumsfeld. So I had a lot of fun with that one.
Did you, was Joe Kukin the director for that? I don't remember. I think I played Kane.
I'm sorry.
Do you remember who the director was?
If it's been a while, I don't remember.
Thank you.
When you were filming Star Wars, was the script complete? Were you just checking the script, or like, did George Lucas come to you and he said, okay, they looked at what Brazil and just realized that Darth Vader is reneging on his agreement? What would Billy Dee Williams do?
No, it wasn't like that. I think that I don't know if we ever really got a complete script, but we had enough to know what direction he wanted to take. But that's a whole process. That making that movie became a real process. I mean, there's so many changes that went on.
None of the, just as a side note, just because we were just at Kirshner's house before we came here, he did an interview for Disney, and a very similar question was asked of him. None of the cast had the entire script,
Right.
and Larry Kasdan was around a lot to do things, but Kirsch worked for a year with Larry to make the script what it was. So that's part of the reason why Empire is what it is, because of Kirsch's input with Larry working. I mean, the two of them are really what made the film, and Kirsch was talking about that. I hope that part of the video gets released for Disney's thing, so you guys will have to watch for that. But yeah, so it's, you know, Kirsch had a lot to do with it, and then the actors, unfortunately, it was more of a secrecy thing. They didn't want, I mean, who wouldn't trust Billy? I mean, I would trust him with, you know, anything, but George was so protective, so, you know, they didn't want any secrets out. Okay, so, yeah, we have time. We have 10. Go in the black shirt, sir.
You just wrote a comic convention. Do you have a favorite superhero or superhero movie?
What?
Do you have a, since we're at a comic book convention, is there a particular comic book superhero or villain that you like, that you admire?
Or movie.
Or movie?
Or movie.
Or movie.
I don't know.
Did you read comics growing up, Billy? Did you have like Batman, Superman? Were you a collector at all, or did you?
No, I was a little bit more erudite than that. I read real books.
Some people consider it an art form.
Listen,
Some of these people consider it an art form.
if George Lucas,
We're going out that way if you want to follow us.
if George Lucas's mother and father stopped him from reading comic books, he wouldn't have done what he did. MIT, you went to MIT? Oh. Only smart people go there, really smart people.
Right here in the front. What does your T-shirt say? Don't hate the player, hate the game, with Darth Vader's picture on it. Is that a... favorite moment or memory during the filming of either Empire or Jedi?
Well, I was talking about it earlier. Where were you?
He was asleep in the front row. Wake him up, nudge him. Who else?
Billy, did you have any scenes ended up on the cutting room floor that you remember? Moments that were really good and wonder why they didn't end up in the finished product?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I think everything I had to do, I think, was on the screen. I think, for the most part.
There's one. There's a scene with him and Luke, Mark Hamill. I can't remember if it's either before you get him off the, when you bring him into the Falcon. I don't know if it's with him before or after, but there is a scene. So hopefully, there's one picture of it out there, like on the internet. We've seen it, and people have brought it to Billy and go, "Do you remember this moment?" And it was like, "No, where did you get this picture from?" So hopefully Lucasfilm, when they do their super duper deluxe be all end all edition, hopefully that scene will be in there, because we know about that one for sure. So.
Were you involved with the sandstorm, that scene that I guess was your first day on Jedi, or the first?
Oh yeah, Billy, the first day of shooting on Return of the Jedi. And
That's
they
all
shut,
right. That
they
was
shut
it.
it down, because they had the fans blowing at the cast. Were you with
I don't think so.
Harrison and
No,
Carrie?
no. Most of what I had to do was in Arizona, in the Sarlacc pit. Sexy stuff. I did all the sexy stuff.
Yeah. For the Star Wars fanatics out there, I can add one other thing for Jedi, if you don't know. In the original concept of the thing, because he gets asked this a lot, so I did the research for it. He was supposed to die originally. The Falcon was never supposed to make it out of the the Death Star, but they changed it. Thank God. 'Cause it would have sucked, if I can say that word now. It would have sucked to have you dead.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If I had known that, I would have quit.
Then they would have killed your character off in an even worse way, like some Ewok would have beat the hell out of you or something.
I would have walked in and said, "You can't fire me. I quit."
Sweet.
I always like that. That's the when you know you're fired, you go in and you say, "I quit." That always, for some reason, that seems so interesting to me. I don't know why.
I haven't forgotten about you, but it's because you asked one and we keep getting new ones. So we will get you because we have 5 minutes. Yes?
Is there a property, past, present, more fully in the future, that you've always kind of had your eye on, and someday, I'll be a part of that? I'm thinking specifically maybe like a James Bond villain or something like that.
Well, yeah, I've had thoughts like that. Yeah, I've had thoughts like that. I've done some pretty good characters, over the years, with, characters with a lot of adventure. The CIA character I did was in a movie called Hit, which is kind of a well, not really, but almost kind of like a James Bond kind of thing. But I think, yeah, for me, it would be a natural. Especially in those days when I could run and jump over things.
Have you guys ever seen The Hit? Has anyone ever seen that movie? The Hit?
It's not The Hit, it's called
Oh, it's just Hit.
Hit, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, thanks for hitting me now. No. Well, it's got, because we have a cool picture of you with a Tommy gun from that, down at the... It's cool.
No.
You don't think so? Okay. It's better. It's cooler to have a laser gun, I think. I'm going to do you, and then we'll do you, okay? Promise. Right here. Go. Her question is, how does Billy feel about the changes that were made for the special editions? For example, having Hayden Christensen appear as a ghost in the end, and like the windows in Cloud City being open now and making it more open. The stuff they've added.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I'm always curious to see what George Lucas is going to do from whenever he puts something together, because he's so brilliant. And but it's interesting. Didn't make whatever I have to say. It doesn't really make any difference because he still made multi-billions of dollars. But I think he was experimenting more with CGI and special effects, and somewhere along the way, I felt like the characters suffered something in the well, I think it just suffered a little bit. It didn't have the same humanity, I guess, that the first three had, where he wasn't relying on all of that stuff. But it's still interesting.
Let's take.
What do you think?
Let's take a quick poll. That's what I was just going to do. What does the audience think? Applause. Who likes the original better? Now, just to make sure we're not getting the wrong reading, who likes the special editions better?
Well, commit to it.
Commit to it. Love them. They'll all be in that area of the hall later, so you can go beat them up. Okay,
well,
I promised you.
I guess it's a matter of if you're really into all that trickery. I guess it's fun for a lot of people. You probably play a lot of this, right?
Billy, do you know who shot first? Was it Han or Greedo? It's a trivia question.
What?
It's a trivia question. In the original movie, George changed it a bit, but do you actually know who shot first, Han or Greedo?
Who shot first?
Hey.
Okay, Han.
Han! Sweet.
So who is it? Greedo?
Greedo, it's a green bounty hunter in the first movie. And
I thought you said Guido.
yes, well, there were mobsters in the movie. Okay. Go ahead, in the back.
I wanted to follow up on just 2 points briefly.
Follow up, yes.
First off, with the special editions, the pink one, what did you think of the change to that one?
Okay, in the special edition, Billy, your favorite object in Return of the Jedi, the big pink one, it was actually altered in the special edition. It's got a thing.
It was altered?
Yeah, it's got a thing coming out of it now. So all those guys that were flying in, it was going up to grab them and pull them in. Did you like that better? Okay, what was the other follow-up?
Lastly, you mentioned how you wish you had kept the cake. Did you get to keep anything from your time on either Star Wars?
Do you have any props of the Star Wars films?
I have George let me have a head of one of the Ewoks. The nose is disintegrating though. What do I do about that?
Well, yeah, send it to a taxidermist. I suppose if you could send it back to George and see if he'll fix it, but I bet you he'd keep it.
But you know, I also have a T-shirt that reads "Revenge of the Jedi," and I have the cap that in Return of the Jedi. It was called the Blue Harvest Company.
Oh yeah.
I have that.
And Billy will be taking offers at the table. Okay, so I think that's just about it. So what we'd like to do is thank you all for being patient with us for setting it up earlier today. Billy will be downstairs signing autographs. If you've got more questions, you can ask him a quick question downstairs. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for Lando, Billy Dee Williams.